Today, the world is in shock. A wave of panic is ripping through the Russian military command, and the evidence is not a secret report. It's streaming online. Footage of flooded Russian positions is everywhere. Enemy dugouts, completely submerged. Heavy equipment, once feared, is now sinking helplessly into thick, impassable mud. This is not a natural disaster. This is the result of a calculated, devastating Ukrainian attack on the dam of the Belgorod Reservoir. The resulting chaos is total. The panic began the moment the dam was hit. Water began to flood the critical roads used by the Russians for their military logistics. In the area of Shebekino and in the Vovchansk direction, entire occupying units that had crossed the Siversky Donets River are now effectively cut off from their rear. They are trapped on a newly formed island, and according to local sources, the water level is continuing to rise. Dozens of tanks and armored vehicles are now nothing more than metal coffins, sinking into the earth. And this panic on the northern front is causing a desperate, almost suicidal, reaction in the south. While their logistics are drowning, the most critical situation is unfolding in the Pokrovsk direction. As if trying to compensate, the occupiers are throwing everything they have at the city. Ukrainian defenders have already repelled 23 separate Russian attacks today alone, with more ongoing at this very moment. They are using heavy equipment in frenzied attempts to break through, not for a strategic gain, but out of desperation. They are trying to destroy Ukrainian logistics, precisely because their own are currently floating away. The soldiers defending Pokrovsk report that Russian units have infiltrated the city, gathering in different districts. Their intention is not to entrench themselves. In a clear sign of their chaotic plan, they intend to advance further north, hoping to disperse Ukraine's defense forces and block their logistical corridors. It is a panicked gamble, a desperate attempt to inflict the same logistical pain they are now feeling. And how does Ukraine watch this panic unfold in real time? How did they know exactly where and when to strike the dam? How do they see the tanks sinking and the units massing in Pokrovsk? The answer is their all-seeing eye in the sky. The Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, the Lelika, the eyes of the artillery, for the 110th Separate Mechanized Brigade. It works day and night, but its true advantage is its resilience. It is almost impossible to suppress. It simply switches frequencies automatically, and if it can't find a clean one, it returns home. In just a few months, this one drone has helped destroy over 60 high-value enemy targets, from armored vehicles to air defense systems. It was this drone that flew deep into enemy territory, not on a specific mission, but just conducting reconnaissance. It found an entire enemy training ground, where Russia was preparing its assault troops. A high-impact strike was carried out immediately. This drone can operate for up to 4 hours, covering distances of over 50 kilometers, even under heavy jamming. One operator reported maintaining perfect contact at 55 kilometers, with range to spare. It is this drone that is now, at this very moment, watching the Russian panic, spotting the enemy first, and striking right on target. And what is Russia's response to this tactical humiliation? What do they do when their tanks are sinking and their ground troops are being hunted? They panic, and they resort to cowardly vengeance. Incapable of fighting on the ground, Russia has launched serial production of new, modernized KAB-guided aerial bombs. But these are not the old bombs. In a desperate move, they have strapped jet engines onto them, turning them into cheap, long-range cruise missiles. They can now travel up to 200 kilometers, striking cities that were previously thought to be in the safe rear, like Poltava and Odessa. One of the latest tests achieved a range of 193 kilometers. With a heavy 315-kilogram warhead, it is the weapon of a desperate army. Cheaper than a real missile, but 5 times deadlier than a Shahid drone. This is Russia's new tactic. If you can't defeat their army, terrorize their civilians. But even this panic move is being countered. A new interceptor drone, the Hunter, is already being tested in France, designed specifically to shoot down these new jet-powered bombs. Until it arrives, Mobile anti-aircraft systems like the Jeopard and electronic warfare are proving effective. So, when your tanks are sinking, your ground troops are encircled by drones, and your new terror bombs are already being countered, what is the final act of a panicked state? The nuclear bluff. Putin has returned to his only remaining threat. The Kremlin is now boasting about the successful test of the Burevestnik, a missile with a nuclear power unit. Propaganda is calling it the Flying Chernobyl, a superweapon with no analogs. They claim its nuclear engine allows it to stay airborne for an unlimited amount of time, even months. But the world is in shock not at this empty threat, but at the sheer desperation of it. Where is the proof? There is no video, no photo evidence of this successful test. Just loud statements. The truth? Putin first spoke of this weapon in 2018. A year later, it was reported that the Burevestnik missile had failed its tests. Then, complete silence. Why, after a failure in 2019, were there no more tests until this exact moment of panic? This isn't a weapon, it's a piece of propaganda. A $100 million scare tactic, likely existing in only 2 or 3 experimental prototypes at most. The world is watching, and it is not intimidated. The world is in shock at the real story, the sinking tanks. U.S. President Donald Trump has already responded to the nuclear bluff. The Russians know that we have a nuclear submarine, the largest in the world, right off their coast. They're not playing games with us, and we're not playing games with them either. His message to Putin was clear. Putin should end the war that was supposed to last a week, but has now dragged on for a 4th year. That's what he should be doing instead of testing missiles. The panic is real. The tanks in the mud are real. And the flying Chernobyl is just the desperate, howling ghost of a losing war.